the late Ferdinand Topacio. Pasensya na po kayo at medyo ang sama kasi ng kondisyon ng road sa South. May nagnanakaw nung mga pondo para sa kalye. Ewan ko kung sino, alam ni Congressman Ungab yun. Anyway, I must admit na hindi po ako competent dito sa pinag-uusapan, but I listened to the privileged speech of Congressman Isidro Ungab twice already. Hindi ko pa rin masyadong maintindihan. It's too technical for me. On the part of my functions lamang as spokesman of the PDP for the impeachment process, tingin ko ngayon naintindihan ko na kung bakit natataranta sila na ituloy itong impeachment. Baka hindi na kasi nila maulit sa February 6, 2026 kasi arami nang nakabantay yung pansuhol nila para pumirma doon sa mga congressman. Baka hindi na nila maibigay sa 2026 sa dami ng mata. Nandiyan na si Ping Lacson, nandiyan na si Sherwin Gatchalian na ipapublish yung budget na booking na ni na congressman, ni Jimmy Bondoc, ni Jigs, yung mga insertion. Nagalit na rin kahit papano, tinablan din after 3 years ang kagalang-galang na Pangulo natin. Ang tagal bago tablan kasi may mga bagay na nakakamanhid na iniinom o tinitake, namamanhid ka o wala akong sinasabi pare tumatawa ka, tumalab na rin, siguro natatakot sila na hindi na nila ma-repeat performance yung panunuhol noong 2025 para sa impeachment. Kaya natataranta sila, kaya heartbroken sila. At ang balita ko, yung mga 7-Eleven daw dun sa paligid ng batasang pambansa na ubos ang tissue sa dami ng umiyak noong na-archive ng Senado yung impeachment. So with that, ipaubaya ko na po sa people who are more qualified to discuss these matters. Salamat po.
Congressman po yan. And saan ho sila mostly, saan silang regions? Even without going to details po. Thank you.
Itong dalawang congressman na ito na nabanggit ko sa inyo, dito sa Luzon area to. Tapos meron pa kaming titingnan uli sa isang lugar ulit. Napakarami na ngayon dumarating na mga impormasyon ngayon. Kaya naghihintay nga ako kung sino mag-iimbestiga so that we can provide all this information to sa investigating body. So sa ngayon, wala kaming alam. We're trying to inquire kung sino talaga ang designated na main investigator office, investigating agency. Pero wala pa naman. So naghihintay pa ho kami. Pero marami na hong nagpapadala sa amin ng mga iba't ibang mga informasyon. These are very critical and essential information that would prompt the investigators and at the same time provide them the necessary lead para alam nila kung saan sila, ang focus nila. I've done this in the past, yung investigation dyan sa kalokohan dyan sa Nila in 2015. And I was called by President Pinoy. At pinatawag niya kami mismo sa Malacanang at talagang verbally dinesignate niya ako as the lead investigating officer dito sa Nila anomalies. And in fact, during our first case, inabot nga kami ng 5 months sa first case pa lang. And we were flooded with a lot of information. Nagulat na kami na hindi lang tip of the iceberg Kumbaga yung nakakit pa lang namin yung pala yung dulo pa lang ng isang pin. At ang dami palang kalokohan niya dito sa buong bansa. So, we started in Las Nieves, Agusan. Then we went to Bohol and then Region 3 area. Pero, we were already flooded with a lot of information. Ganon din ang mangyayari dito sa Once na nag-umpisa ang investigation, hindi mauubusan ng mga informasyon ang ating mga investigating agencies. Kaya sana mag-umpisa na talaga yung investigation. Dahil ang nag-iimbestiga, nagulat ako, nag-iimbestiga yung mismong House of Representatives. Para mo sinabi na yung criminal, imbestigahan mo na lang yung sarili mo, alamin mo paano mga krimen ang ginawa. No? Ay, hindi ko naman sinasabi na puro sila, lahat sila dyan involved. Marami rin dyan, matitino dyan, House of Representatives. Pero na-overwhelm lang sila ng mga marami kasi may kalokohan dyan.
Ay,
It's about time na talaga we have to deal with them. And we have to deal with them straight. Diretso ana kasi I just came from a meeting sa LCP, League of Cities. And I was the former Secretary General there. Talagang maraming lumapit sa akin ng mga mayors. Sinabi nila sa akin talaga na sama talaga ng loob nila talaga na nangyayari ito. At pinanggit nila sa akin yung mga kung sino-sino na mga politiko, na korap na politiko na pinabanggit nila kung mga ginawang kalokohan sa lugar nila. And sabi nga nila, they're willing to join me kung sakali patawag man ako sa House of Representatives.
just a follow-up, sir. Yung dalawang congressman na binabanggit nyo, incumbent sila, and do you have an information kung more or less magkano ang kickback nila? Thank you.
Incumbent sila. In fact, tatlo na nga yan eh. Nakalimutan ko lang palang banggitin na meron pa pala kami isa. Lahat sila incumbent. At matatakaw.
Hello. Hi, Mayor. Ivy Reyes from Billionario po. Dati rin po akong taga Baguio. I have two questions for you, Mayor. First, you ordered a third-party audit on a rock shed along Cannon Road. And when I used to live there, kahit konting ulan lang po, nagla-landslide sa Cannon Road. So, kamusta na po yung infrastructure development sa Cannon Road, sir?
Well, that was my proposal doon sa council. Kasi ngayon, nag-withdraw nga ako doon sa nomination because I've been the chairman of the council, yung Greece Development Authority. Kasi meron na kaming parang MMDA sa Baguio, no? And it lapsed into law in 2021. Unfortunately, for 2 years, almost 3 years, walang pondo. So ngayon pa lang, na-activate yung administration niya, yung executive, yung management ng Greece Development Authority. And 3 days ago, nagkaroon na din ng panibagong election for 2025 to 2028 at least. And I agree my denomination. Kasi tapos na ako eh. Gusto ko naman na iba naman ang mag-take over there as chairman. At na-raise ko nga yan. Let's just immediately come up with a third-party audit doon sa body. And ang nangyari, nung sabi ko na let's immediately prepare a resolution and send it to DPWH, yung isang membro ng council na bago, sabi niya, kailangan pa, pwede bang i-delay muna natin, ibigay muna natin doon sa committee natin at pag-aralan muna ng committee. Sabi ko, this is already a sense of this. We should act on this with a sense of urgency because this is a safety issue, an economic issue. Impacted tayo lahat dito. Tapos sabi nung isang membro rin na i-deliberate na lang natin during the induction. So nagkaroon ng induction kahapon, walang deliberation kahapon. So mag 3 weeks na, napakabagal nilang mag-umaksyon. Hindi ko rin alam kung sinong pinoprotektahan nila. Obviously, may pinoprotektahan sila. Ayan ang problema rin sa local government. Yung mga mayors namin, yung mga governors, kanya-kanyang protection din sa yung mga napapakinabangan nila mga korap na politiko. So, yan din ang isang predicament ng local government. Kanya-kanya silang protektahan. Kaya, ako talaga I was really frustrated na napakabagal. Isipin mo, it's just a simple letter or resolution addressed to the DPWH to conduct a third-party audit para malaman namin kung what really happened. Bakit ganyan? Unang-unang, nangyari na yung 2 years ago, ginagawa na yung rock shed na yan, biglang nasira lahat, napagsakan ulit. And this time, natapos yung rock shed, bakit ganun uli nangyari? Bumagsak ulit. Bakit kulang ang due diligence na ginawa? And so much money, I believe mga 250 million na nagastos dyan. And those are taxpayers' money. But unfortunately, itong mga kasamahan ng mga local government, napakabagal umaksyon din. Lalo na rito sa development authority na tinayo namin. Kaya talagang kumisan na-frustrate. Pero this is something that we have to deal with. Ganito talaga ang sistema. Ganitong kalakaran dito sa Pilipinas. Para magbago na yung mga utak nila. Kailangan talagang ang gusto ng taong bayan is action. Action, hindi yung dakdakan ng dakdak yan. Kailangan talaga execution. At talagang kailangan din may conviction. pwedeng pabago-bago isip mo. Kailangan din, consistent ka rin. Kung good governance ka, kailangan consistent ka pang first term, second term, third term. Maraming magaling dyan lang ng pag-governance sa first term. Pagdating ng second term, third term, wala na. Wala na yung kanilang mga core values. Wala na rin kanilang tinatawag na ethics. So, once again, these are the things that we have to deal with because these are the realities. Ganyan na nangyari dahil we were just so silent about it. Kaya ganyan nag-deteriorate yung values natin dito sa Pilipinas, especially among the politicians.
Thank you, Mayor. A follow-up question po on another topic. Can we get an update on the PUV modernization program in Baguio City? Kasi po, in 2022, there's a report by the Electric Vehicle Association of the Philippines saying e-jeeps can fly steeper routes in Baguio. For example, ang nakakaikot lang po, ang routes lang po na naikutan ay Aurora Hill and Trancovit. Hello? Hello. And na-witness ko rin po yun bilang tumira sa Baguio na sa main road lang po umiikot yung mga e-buses and e-jeeps. So can we get an update on that, sir?
Well, much as we would like to be very aggressive dyan sa ating transport modernization program, ang malaking problema dyan kasi is the capacity of the cooperatives to pay their monthly amortization. And looking at the ridership, nahihirapan sila. Kasi nga walang subsidy from the national government. Sana kung yung mga ninakaw ng mga politiko ginamit yung subsidy, marami na sana tayo na modern. Can you just imagine? Those are billions of pesos na sinayang. But again, we have to deal with that. So ito ngayon, we're now coming up with the smart urban mobility system wherein we will be able to generate this much revenue from these proposed SUMs. At a big chunk of that money na revenue namin will be used to subsidize yung mga cooperatives namin so that they will be able to procure modernized jeepney, probably hybrid or electric. Ito ngayon, ang dami na ngayon na ngayon dito, may mga electric kami na vehicle ngayon, may mga darating ngayon ulit na mga proof of concept na mga vehicles ngayon. Papakita. In fact, meron kaming 3 ngayon na dumating na mga electric vehicle ngayon na ginagamit ngayon sa John Hay. At pinapakita ngayon, dinedemo ngayon yun. Tinitingnan yung endurance ng mga panayon. And once again, I also got in touch with Governor Chavit since magpapadala uli siya ng isang electric vehicle dito na mas mura at itetest din namin dito. So ang dami pa mga options kasi, ang dami pa kasi. Ang pinakamalaking challenge ngayon, much as we would like to have our electric vehicles, especially dito sa mga public transport, ang problema rito is the infrastructure, especially yung power infrastructure. We're not yet ready. We're not yet prepared. And I believe pag napakarami na nitong electric vehicles na ito, I think the power requirement is so will be overwhelming na baka hindi kakayanin ng ating mga electric cooperatives. Especially na nagkakaroon nga tayo ng problema, laki na shortfall natin pagdating sa power, sa energy. So ang dami mga factors na nagpapabagal itong modernization program natin. Pero as I've said, hindi kami umihinto dito sa Ciudad ng Baguio because I believe this is the right way forward. And we need to create a future-ready Baguio para talagang kailangan natin maging malinis yung ating kapaligiran, especially yung air quality natin dito.
Hi, Mayor Magalong. Paige Javier po from ABS-CBN. Follow-up lang ako dun sa question kanina ni Kuya Manny. Nabanggit zone. Yung pangatlo from Luzon din po. And then yung iba yung tinitingnan pa po na congressman involved allegedly dito sa ganitong projects na may kickbacks. Saang regions kaya yun, Mayor?
Well, alam mo kasi, the way I see it, and from the information that I'm getting from the other mayors, it's all over the country. Hindi to focus lang sa isang lugar, sa isang island. Middle island natin, it's pervasive. It's all over the country. Ganyan katindi itong nangyaring corruption dito. Kaya siguro hindi na nakati si Presidente. Kaya siguro na siya na mahiya kayo. Pero unfortunately, marami pa rin manhid. Kalos. No? So, Dito sa mga natatanggap ko na information, kasi I would like to speak based on evidence. Ayoko naman magsalita na narinig ko lang yung mayor na sinabi niya gano'n. Kailangan ko. Kaya sinabi ko sa kanila, please provide me the lead, the essential or critical documents or critical information. Para at least we have a way of validating it. So, yun ang ginagawa namin ngayon. So, marami yan. Napakarami yan. Hindi lang tatatlo yan. Napakarami nila. Sabi ko nga sa iyo, may sharing of best practices pa sila. I remember talking to another mayor, a very popular mayor, actually. Sabi nga niya, alam mo, mayor, nagkaroon kami ng dinner ba yun? Dinner o lunch? I forgot. Sabi niya, pausap ko yung mga congressman. Can you just imagine, they were talking in front of me as if I was not there. Sabi ko, hindi ko naman nakuha kagad. What do you mean? They were talking about their corruption. Yung porsyento nila, ano yung mga nabili nila, nagmamalaki nila yung mga, kung ano yung mga arian nila. Hindi ba lang sila nahiya na nandun ako. Sabi. So, ganun na sila kablitant. wala na konsensya, hindi ba lang sila, wala na kahihiyan.
Mayor, sundan ko lang kasi nabanggit na nga ni House Public Accounts Chairperson Representative Terry Ridon na baka pwedeng ilabas niya yung evidence, mag-name daw po kayo ng names at sabi niya nga kung magkaka-probe dun yung ilabas po. Meron na bang communication from their end sa inyo and willing ba kayo na mag-appear dun sa probe na yun if ever?
Well, I'm just waiting. Hanggang ngayon, ako, very enthusiastic na ako pumarap sa kanila. And naghihintay pa rin ako nung kanilang sama. Wala naman ako natatanggap. Hindi na rin naman sila nagsasalita kung ipapatawag nila ako. So, andito lang ako, naghihintay. In fact, nag-volunteer pa ako kung gusto nila. Nag-volunteer pa ako na ako na lang mag-lead ng investigation. Kaya, basta importante, iatas nila sa akin yung Philippine National Police, especially the CIDG at yung NBI kasi I worked with them before in previous investigation. So, kahit pa paano, alam pa na namin, nare-report ko pa rin kung paano yung direction, paano yung framework pagdating sa election. By the way, gusto ko lang iparating din, kung sakasakaling tawagin nila ako dyan sa Kongreso, huwag nila akong tratuhin na ako yung akusado. Tratuhin nila ako na ako yung resource person. Huwag nila ako intimidate dyan kasi the best na rin naman ako umarap dyan sa Kongreso na hearing at nakita ko naman kung paano nila in-intimidate yung ibang mga resource person. Huwag nilang gawin sa akin.
Thank you, Mayor. Next question ko po kay Kong Ungab. Hi, Kong. Just wanted to get your reaction po dun sa Supreme Court decision, dun sa impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte, pati na rin sa pag-archive ng Senate dun sa articles of impeachment. Ano po yung reaction niya, statement niyo po dun?
Thank you. Unang-una, I am not a contractor, ha? I am just a humble farmer's son. So on the question of impeachment, I agree with the ruling of the Supreme Court. I have read it twice. There's really a question there on the procedure because it's very clear in the Constitution and in our laws that immediately dapat i-calendar at i-transmit sa Committee on Justice ang first three impeachments. In other words, the discretion to determine whether merong sufficiency or insufficiency of form and substance belongs to the Committee on Justice. It does not belong to the Secretary General. Second, on the Senate, well, tama din naman yung resolution nila. It's just archive in the meantime na wala pang final decision. But kung hindi ma-reconsider, walang reconsideration, so yes, tuloy-tuloy na yung sa archive. But kung ma-reconsider, then ibalik nila sa plenary. So, may wisdom naman yung decision ng Senado. And I agree.
Sir, yung sa ano naman po, kasi kung dun sa Supreme Court decision nabanggit na sa February pa ulit next year pwedeng mag-file ulit kung sakaling magpa-file. Sa tingin niyo po ba, ano sa tingin niyo sir, magpa-file pa kaya sila ulit? Ano yung reaction niyo to that? Bilang member din po kayo ng Congress na ito at ng previous Congress.
Let's cross the road when we get there. Matagal pa yon. Ang daming mangyayari pa pagdating ng February 6. Kaya ikukwento ko lang yung experience ko. I've been a politician for 1995 ako naging konsehal sa Davao 2007 naging congressman ako. Usually in the second half of the term of the president, nagbabago na yung takbo ng politika. Yun ang experience ko. Saka ang bilis ng taon. Magbibiling ka 3 December na lang yan. O 2 December. Ganon. Kasi everyday, very, very hot na yung topic ng politics. Papunta na tayo sa 2028. So yan lang po, ma'am. Based on my experience.
Last na lang sir, may reaction po ba kayo dun sa mga critics nitong sa Senate, sa SC na sinasabi nilang yun nga, na pinatay itong impeachment trial?
Well, the highest level of interpretation of the Supreme Court and our laws belongs to the Supreme Court. They cannot be more supreme than the Supreme Court.
Thank you, sir. Sige po,
Pwede
sir.
ba akong sumingit? Nagaya na ako kay Martin, mahilig sumingit. Mahilig sa singit. Anyway, I would just like to state that on behalf and in the name of the Partido Demokratiko Pilipino, that we would like to commend the politic and judicious treatment by the Senate President of such a divisive issue. Napakaganda po ng treatment. It was in accordance with the law. And more importantly, it averted a possible constitutional crisis. And for that, kudos to Senate President Chis Escudero. Number 2, the PDP denounces in the strongest possible terms the non-so-subtle threats hurled by the Speaker and his minions and factota in the House of Representatives, threatening the justices of the Supreme Court with impeachment just because they did not get their way. This is very unseemly and this is very improper, and it erodes the system of checks and balances instituted in our Constitution. Wag na po nating patulan yan, Mr. Speaker, napakasagwa po. Napakasagwa. Yang si Representative Laila de Lima, napakapangit po ng ginagawa niya na tinetreaten niya ng impeachment ang mga justices ng Supreme Court. Wala pong ganyanan. Bakit nyo gagawin yan just because you lost? At natalo kayo dahil nagpabaya kayo. Number 3, huli na po ito, mabuti naman po at nagdebate ang Senado kesa in-archive na lang ng diretsyo. Kasi nakita po natin kung sino sa ating mga senador ang may utak at sinong walang utak. Abogado pa naman. Can you imagine? Forgivable si Senator Soto, Aquino, and Ontiveros. Although hindi forgivable yung magbibigay ka ng fake news. Kay Senator Ontiveros itong comment na to, ngaw-ngaw ka na ngaw-ngaw, fake news kami, ikaw pala ang fake news, hindi pala unanimous yun. Di nasopla ka. Buti nga sa'yo. Pero, a lawyer in the person of Senator Pangilinan to say na kung ang Supreme Court daw ay gustong pigilin ang Senado from proceeding with the trial, ay dapat nag-issue ng injunction. Immediately executory. Alam nyo, nagulat talaga ako na pinapanood ko, napatayo ako. Sabi ko, I have never in my life seen a lawyer so abysmally ignorant of the law. Well, anyway, nandiyan na po yun. it is in the records for all to see for future generations. So, again, we commend the Senate leadership, we commend Senate President Cheese Escudero. Maraming salamat po.
Good morning, sir. Jason po ng SMNI News. I would like to address this first question kay Mayor Magalong. Mayor, good morning po. Kanina you mentioned na matagal na itong nangyayari, itong ganitong klaseng sistema. Based on your knowledge po, gaano na po to katagal? And then second question, may mention po kayo na nakausap na Mayor. May we know kung kahit hindi na lang po yung city, saan po ba siya? Sa Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao? And or anong region po? Thank you.
Well, unang-una, itong sistema na nangyayari na ito, since I became mayor, meron na yan eh. Naririnig ko nga yan eh. Nagugulat nga ako na why is it that a congressman approves the annual plan of the DPWH? Nakita ko yan eh. Sabi ko, bakit siya nag-approve? Di ba? And second is, why is it na nagpapagawa sila ng project na walang engagement with the local government? At pati na rin, walang kulang ng public consultation. Ganito kasi yan eh. Sa local government, kung gagawa kami ng isang proyekto, unang-una, pag gagawa ka ng sa isang taon, lalagyan mo lahat dyan, ano? Nandiyan yung local development fund mo, identify mo na magkano ang amount. Now, gagawa kayo ng prioritization matrix. You talk to the barangay provides you all this list. Ano yung mga gusto nilang priority list. In the same manner, tuturuan mo rin yung barangay kung paano prioritization. So, we have defined may established parameters yan. After ng barangay, iprepresent pa nila uli sa district yon. So, the district again, gagawin nila yon. No? Gagawa sila ng priorities. And then this will be certified by the Liga ng barangay. After that, magkakaroon ng series of public consultation. Ang next na move niyan is ipepresent yan ilalagay yan sa annual investment plan, sa annual procurement plan. Then, it will be presented to the City Development Council, composed of about 100 plus na members niyan, multi-sectoral. Nandyan na rin lahat yung mga barangay officials, nandyan na rin yung mga CSOs, nandyan din yung People's Council, at kung ano pa, mga religious sector, lahat, basically, well-represented lahat, including the youth sector. And then, pag pumasa sa City Development Council, ibibigay na yan sa City Council for approval ng budget at yung annual investment plan. So, ganun ka-tedious yung process na pag hindi mo nasunod ng isa at matapos yung isang project at binayaran ng local government, posible na yung COA, kakasuhan niya yung mayor at yung BAC. Bakit ninyo in-approval to binayaran nyo to at hindi nyo nailagay sa annual investment plan? Ganon ka-tedious yung process. Eh. Pero dyan sa mga mambabatas, tanongin nyo, si Congressman Sid, alam niya yan. Sa mga kapwa niya. I'm pretty sure na siya, meron matindi siyang ginagawa na po. I've heard so much about Congressman Sid na alam ko naman yung sistema niya about engaging the local government at yung constituents public consultation, very conscious yan. Pero sa iba, ang kwan lang dyan is, ang sistema lang nila, ang framework nila is, I want this, I want that, tapos tawagin yung DPWs, implement mo. Walang konsultasyon, wala lahat AIP, wala lahat. Hindi ko maintindihan bakit iba yung sistema nila, wala silang accountability. Bakit ang local government, napaka-tedious ng sistema, may accountability. Diyan pala makikita mo kagad. And when I became mayor, meron na yan, existing na yan. Kaya nagulat nga ako, bakit siya nag-approve? Diba? Ang nag-approve dapat niya, Secretary ng DPWH. Bakit? O kaya local government. Bakit siya nag-approve? At tinanong ko ngayon sa ibang mga local government, ganun ba yung system? Oo, ganun din sa akin. Wala rin pa consultation. Wala rin consultation. Sabi ng ibang may mga mayor sa akin. Yung second na tanong mo, I'm really very sorry I was not able to get your name. Yung mga kausap ko are from Visayas and from Mindanao. Pinanggit rin nila sa akin yung kanilang mga problem. Hindi lang mga mayors ng Luzon. It's all over the country. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao.
Thank you, Mayor. May question po kay Representative Ungab. Sir, kanina, yun nga, sa privilege speech nyo, in-expose nyo na yung mga anomalya sa 2025 budget. Ano yung ginawa po ninyong hakbang para makorek po ito at kung may pag-asa pa na may correct? And then on the 2026 budget, ano po yung gagawin po natin bilang isang kongresista po para hindi maulit ang ganitong klaseng sistema?
Ganito, medyo mahaba yung sagot. But before anything else, saludo ako sa explanation ni Mayor Magalong. He knows very well the process, no? I would like to add, based on my profession and career, yung profession ko kasi, I am an economist and a former banker. So, yung explanation ito, yung ating Philippine Development Plan, yun talaga ang vision natin. Meron tayong plano. Then aside from the long-term plan na 25-year, meron tayong 5-year development plan. Then meron tayong every year AIP, Annual Investment Program. Katulad nung sinabi ni Mayor Magalong, yung national meron din, yung local meron din. Yung ginagawa ko sa distrito ko, lahat ng proyekto ko, ini-input ko sa City Development Council. Yung City Development Council naman, nag-a-attend talaga ako. Pinipresent ko rin yun sa Regional Development Council. Yung Regional Development Council, pag nag-a-approve na yun, ipapasa na nila yun sa NEDA. At i-input yun doon sa national budget natin. So yun dapat ang proseso. Our biggest problem are the insertions. Because nagtatanggal sila ng budget, nag-i-insert sila ng budget na wala sa plano, wala sa investment program, wala sa Philippine Development Plan. Connectivity of our roads is very important. For the major economic growth point, you have to make it as a catalyst for development. Yung mga rural areas mo dapat nakakonect papunta doon. But if through insertions, pasok ng project or ng concreting na wala doon sa connectivity plans, mas lalong magulo yung traffic mo. Pangalawa, it's also the same in the flood control. Yung flood control mo, dapat nakaplano yon papunta sa river at saka papunta sa dagat. Kung yung piecemeal project yon, binibigay mo lang per district, patay ka. Mas lalong babaha yung lugar. So, as to the question, what are my plans after my expose? Well, 2025 budget, malapit nang maubos yung pera. But still, and of course, approved na yung budget. Medyo late lang. Actually, I saw this last January pa. Kaya lang, inabutan ako nung campaign period at saka ang research. Very technical ito eh. Ang haba nung research kasi 13 items yung iniisa-isa ko. At saka pang 14 yung sa syntax law. Medyo kabisado ko na yung syntax law, dire-diretso ako. My only remedy this time is to present my privileged speech as an evidence to the Supreme Court. Because it is a clear violation that Congress, by adding figures to the automatic appropriation, really went beyond what was submitted by the President. Yung automatic appropriation kasi, hindi yun napapansin eh. Kasi usually hindi namin natatouch every year. So since 2007 nung naging congressman ako, ngayon ko lang nakita ito na halos ang daming ginalaw. So yung SAGF, Special Accounts in the General Fund, dinagdagan nila ng 12.7 billion. Yung total appropriations natin sa National Expenditure Program nag-increase ng 12.7 billion. Congress is not allowed to add more than what the President has submitted. Pangalawa, there were 14 special laws amended or superseded by the General Appropriations Act. Kabisado ng mga abogado natin yan. Can the General Appropriations Act amend the statutes providing for the earmarking of these laws? So 14 items yun i-violate nila. Ano yung last question mo?
For the 2026 budget, paano po natin matitiyak, sir? And ito, follow-up na lang, last question na lang. Yung sa sinabi ni Presidente na i-veto niya yung 2026 budget pag hindi naka-align sa government priorities. Sa tingin niyo, sir, may pag-asa ba sa sinabi ng Pangulo.
Okay, with regards to 2026, anong magagawa ko? I do not belong to the majority, I do not belong to minority. So, ang power ko para makatulong is through my privileged speeches. I will be coming up with another privileged speech. So, yung una kong touch was the automatic appropriations. Ngayon naman, pupunta naman ako sa program and unprogrammed appropriations. Papakita ako, I hope na this time, allowed na ako magbigay ng PowerPoint presentation because I will show you the movement from the General Appropriations Act, then pag-approve ng House, pag-approve ng Senate, at saka yung resulta ng Bicameral Conference Committee. Kung kaya ko, every item, every major expenditure, ilalabas ko yun. But ongoing yung ginagawa ko na mga PowerPoints. So yun lang. And I think my participation in the committee hearings as well as in the plenary, I wish to give some inputs there based on my experience and wisdom. Actually, mahirap kasi pag-aralan ang budgeting. It's different from finance and economics na ang dami mong libro. Kukunti lang talagang libro on government budgeting. So you have to learn it through experience and readings, and balikan mo talaga yung archive ng debates sa House of Representatives at saka sa Senate. Some of it are available online, pero kailangan mo mag-research talaga doon sa archives. As to anong magagawa, well, let's admit it. Yes, Congress is the power of the purse. Pero during my time, when I was a chairman of the Appropriations Committee, hindi ako basta-basta na nag-amend on my own. When you exercise your power of the purse, you should still follow the Constitution. You still follow the statutes kasi may special laws yung automatic appropriations eh. So ang ginagawa ko, ito tatanggalin ko. But usually pinapatawag ko ang NEDA at BBCC. Ito, wala ito at gusto tatanggalin ng Kongreso. Ilipat namin ito. Pwede ba namin ilipat sa ganito? Can we agree? Although, kung i-force mo, pwede because Congress has the power of the purse. Pero sayang lang yung ipapasok mo na hindi alam ng DBCC, hindi alam ng executive dahil mahirapan yun mag-implement kasi stranger sa kanila yan. So, pinapatawag ko yung DBCC at saka DPWH. Yung DPWH secretary, pag mabaintindihan niya, gagawa yun ng study. Tapos, check kung sa RDC. Babalik talaga yun sa RDC, sa CDC at saka sa NEDA. Titingnan nila kung yung mga ilalagay. Now, pwede talaga magkaintindihan ang executive at legislative. Pero kung mayabang yung BICA mo, mayabang yung kongreso mo na as if they already know everything. The basic budgeting is very important. The budget cycle and the basics of, basahin na lang yung constitutional limitations sa yung administrative code nandun. So kung mabasa na yun, more or less, alam mo na yung anong dapat ipasok at saka alam mo na yung hindi dapat ipasok. I'm a bit technical kasi I'm more of an economist at sa banker kaya hindi masyadong naiintindihan ng ibang congressman. But I tell you, as early as January of 2024, nakita ko na ito lahat. I was invited in the forum sa Maisog noong 2024. Di-present ko yon. Almost ang daming program. Sinabi mong program expenditures, shovel ready na yan, ready for implementation. Yun yung priority program ng gobyerno. Nilipat nila sa program fund. Ang pinalit sa program are their priority projects which are not in the development plan. Ang masakit doon, pati yung foreign assisted projects. 56 items sa 2024, check ko lang sa 2025 kung ilan, but majority of the foreign assisted projects nilipat sa program fund. How can you activate the foreign assisted projects? Kaya ang daming delays ng major projects natin. How can you activate it? Because it is in the unprogrammed fund, walang punto. And I think the President ngayon, nare-realize niya dahil nahihirapan na silang mag-implement. because of what happened in the budget. As early as 2024, sinabi ko na yan. 2025, grabe yung nakita ko, yung blank pages. How can a member of the Bicameral Conference Committee sign a Bicameral Conference Committee report with 13 pages of 28 blank items? Kahit binasa na lang sana, makita mo na. Pagtingin ko kagad, nakita ko na kagad yung blank items eh. From blank to blank, from this amount to blank. And you sign that? It cannot be a typographical error. So, questions is pending with the Supreme Court. You hope Supreme Court will look into that and come up with the ruling, because the ruling that is very important in future legislations. I hope I have answered your question.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Pasensya na po kayo, may idadagdag lang po ako. Kami, na maliit. Kasi ang tanong niyo po, anong magagawa? Hindi ikaw. Ang paniniwala po naman namin dati pa po is hanggang wala pong nananagot criminally liable, no? Walang mangyayari kasi wala pong nangyayaring consequence dun sa mga kongresista. Now, as an update po sa ating media, di ba po, ang aming kasos dun sa Ombudsman regarding the falsification of legislative documents sa violation ng RA 3019 Section 3E, no? Ay naisang tabi. Pinatulog muna, no? Dahil it's akin to parang prejudicial question daw. Parang ganon, no? Na yung constitutionality bago daw hatulan yung yung criminal aspect, which is the falsification of legislative documents. With all due respect, no, to the Honorable Office of the Ombudsman, we do not agree to this, no? The falsification of the legislative documents, this is very obvious to the lawyers, is a complete and separate issue from the constitutionality. Ang pinakita po nila former Speaker Alvarez at ni Honorable Congressman Ungab, no, ay yung blanco nagkalaman to the tune of 241 billion. Napakalinaw po noon at hindi dumaan sa plenaryo at napirmahan po ng mga kinauukulan. So, ayon po sa res ipsa loquitur sa batas, no, yung the thing speaks for itself, no? Dumaan po yan sa speaker at dun sa mga dati pong pinuno ng appropriation. Alam niyo po sila General Garcia at Diego Magpantay, sila po ang alam na alam din nila yung issue na yan about the falsification. So, in sum, kung wala pong mananagot criminally tsaka individually, bali wala kasi lagi po sila magtatago under the veil of the congressman hood, no? So hindi po pwede. Baka po may gustong idagdag ang ating
Excuse me. Mayor Magano will be leaving in 10 minutes. So kung meron tayong last question, message na lang. Close statement from Mayor Magano, please. Mayor? Last message. Mayor. Wait. Alis na kasi si Mayor eh. May meeting na Mayor. Parting words. Ayun, narinig niyo po ako. Parting words. Closing statement.
Una papaalam lang po ako sa ating mga guests, si Congressman Sid, Attorney Jimmy, si Freddy, and si Sir Belilio at si Jigs. Unang-una, ito pong natutuwa po ako at dumarami na po tayo. Tuloy-tuloy po, we will always keep the fire burning. We will going to sustain itong campaign natin. Promotion of good governance, especially this campaign against corruption. There will be no let up. Sana po, sama-sama po tayo rito na hanggang kahuli-hulihan. Hanggang talagang maayos po natin yung sistema dahil this is the only legacy that we can pass on to our young people, our children, and to our grandchildren. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Mayor, bago patuloy, photo daw muna sa iyo. Photo daw sa'yo. Makatayo. Tayo na lang po daw, tayo. Yan. Okay. Para balance. Para
Pasensya na lang po kayo.
Never miss a story. Unlock exclusive access to uninterrupted streaming and premium news content. Subscribe to ANC 24/7 on YouTube and join ANC Prestige today.